There's the 580 emblem. This has air suspension. This is an unusual... Wait, is this an AMG? No way. Hey guys, this is Joe Tech from JoeteckTips on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And today, we're going to be doing a quick overview and review of the Mercedes Benz EQS 580. Now, I have the EQE 350 SUV, and I actually have the 580 SUV as a loaner vehicle, as my vehicle gets some headlight work done to it. So anyway, just to give you an understanding of what we're going to be doing, this vehicle is substantially longer than the EQE series of SUVs. All right, it's a longer vehicle by far. It also offers a larger battery. We're going to do a quick overview around the vehicle, and we're going to show you some cool features that this thing has and the pros and cons to the vehicle. Let's get to it. Having a right screen on the EQS 580 is really cool. However, that's a major reflection problem. I can see it on my peripheral vision. All right, this is the view of the EQE. Notice there's no screen. And notice it's flat. Like a flat, there's no reflection that will come from driving. The interior is fantastic. White leather, which I'm not a huge fan of. And you have full control of the seats as similar to the front. There we go. We can actually recline and raise the seats. Move the seats forward. Move the seats backwards. It's unique in a SUV, for sure. Now I'm actually in the car, in the back seat, and there is substantial amount of space. I'm 6'1", and you got plenty of space. The seat is all the way back. Type-C chargers. In a more loaded vehicle, there would be a control panel here. Look at that dashboard for the driver. This has an enormous instrument cluster. I can't even say instrument cluster. There's a screen on the front there. There's a huge screen here for the driver, for navigation, and your infotainment system, essentially. And there's a third one in front of the passenger, for the passenger to use. Now, as much as I like bells and whistles and tech, this is a bit overkill and actually annoying as all hell. For one, it is reflective as hell. So the sun reflects off of this and blinds the bejesus out of the driver. And it's so annoying and distracting because you see every reflection while driving. So if I were you, I would not get this vehicle with this instrument. I would get it with the single screen, and I wouldn't get any of this. This is just a waste, absolute waste of money, per se. The stereo system kicks major ass for sure. This has interesting, has lighting around the outside here, which I'll show you the night vision of this. It's so eye-catching and beautiful. It's not even funny. This also has a full 100% panoramic sunroof for passengers and driver. And it opens up as well. It is a fantastic add-on. Oh, this car is doing weird stuff. These are all lights here. These are lights up the whole rear. These are lights here as well. Controls are up there for the lighting. This is it's a beautiful car. This car sits at 140 grand right here, right now, which is ridiculous. If you're really in the need of all the bells and whistles, then this is the vehicle for you. But other than that, I don't see the need. Like with every Mercedes and pretty much any car, you can adjust the height of the seat belts. And these are auto tensioning. So as soon as you plug it in, it actually pulls you closer to the seat and self-adjusts. It's actually pretty impressive what it does. One of the issues that I have with electric vehicles, and I think everybody would agree with me, is that you have more or less range anxiety. Meaning that you don't want to go too far because, you know, electric is electric and you don't want to get stuck. This vehicle, and since it's cold, because we are in winter time right now here in New York, the range on this vehicle is 275 miles at 100%. Now, this vehicle acts like, and I'm being dead serious, if you had like a V12, which doesn't exist anymore, but say you had a V12 engine and you're watching the gas meter or gas needle go down on your fuel tank gauge. And that's what this feels like, because this has 275 mile range. Now, mind you, this vehicle is actually the fastest Mercedes in the electric line, period. This goes 0 to 60 in just about 4 seconds. Actually, I think it is 4 seconds on the nose. This has 616 horsepower at 700 and something pounds of torque, which is ridiculous. This thing accelerates so fast, it's ridiculous. It's powerful as all hell. That said, the battery is slightly larger than the EQE series. That has a 90.4 kilowatt hour battery. This has, I believe, 108 point something kilowatt hour. Now, it is a little bit bigger, longer. It is substantially heavier. This weighs just about 7,700 pounds or slightly over 7,700 pounds. That's a heavy vehicle, okay? That's huge. And for a vehicle that weighs over 3 tons, to go to 0 to 60 in 4 seconds is impressive. So you have to put that in consideration regardless of what Tesla can do. So anyway, there's a range anxiety, and this is true. So I left today to go to BJ's to go shopping. Let me power it up. Let me show you the dashboard. You can see 267 miles of range, 95%. So I'm actually watching that drop as I drive. So I had a range of 275, and now I have a range of 267. It's still a high range, but you're watching the percentage meter go down. And that's the scary part. I've never driven my EQE nor this vehicle past 50%. Because remember, it takes time to charge. And the problem that you'll have with certain chargers is that now you're bound to time. My particular charge that I have does about 25 miles an hour. So if I'm going to charge 100 miles, it's going to take 4 hours. If I'm going to charge 200 miles, it's going to take 8 hours. That's the charge length, or the charge wattage of the charger. So that does about 24 miles, 25 miles an hour. So it's going to take some time. You can go slower. You can go 36, but then it's going to take twice as long. So when I back into the garage, I actually lock the doors so the handles can retract, so I don't rip them off if I'm too close to the edge of the entrance of the garage. And we're going to back this bad boy into the garage. And you'll see here how close things are. So this view is insane and is very intelligent. This is 360-degree view of going into the garage. Now, I'm very good at doing this, and it doesn't matter how much noise you hear, we are not going to crash. You see? All right, so now you can clearly see these sensors. Almost looks like there's a camera facing here, and these are infrared lights to make sure there's somebody here. So you can actually clearly see that with no problem. Now it's kind of unique. I don't think anybody even knew that even existed. But they do. This menu system, we have, this is the instruments cluster we're going to be, or the buttons we're going to be focusing on right here. All right, home, okay, these arrows, and we're going to show you what these do. And then this is the back button. So if I hit the home button, this comes up. Now we use the left and right here to cycle through which dashboard we want. So we have understated, and this shows your miles an hour and a clock. And yes, the air pressure is low on the tires, so we're not flat. They're just 10 psi lower than normal because of the temperature drop. This vehicle was in the building, didn't cause a problem, went outside and bang. All right, so we hit home again and we go into sport. Hit OK. Now this shows G-force and if the car is tilted or leaning and how much energy this gives. I'm actually hitting I'm actually hitting the accelerator pedal. That's the sound you hear. It's pretty wild. All right. So now we hit home again and we go to classic. Home again, classic. Why didn't it select classic? All right. So now this one has the up and down on it. So this is where you would reset your tripometer. So like and it has navigation as well built into this. There's a lot of options here. You have music. You have systems suspended based off of the attention assist. This is actually this thing has so much bells and whistles, not even funny. From start, how much watt hours per mile we use, the consumption, tells us the range, minimum max. Now this, I mean, we can go into grave detail of the whole menu system of this vehicle. The review would be very, very long. I may touch some of that, but it is insane and how much stuff there actually is. All right, so let's go back to here. So it'll give us the range. We can changes as well. Hopefully, also, by the way, if this shuts off, it'll actually, I'm hitting the accelerator pedal so it doesn't shut down because of the review that I'm doing. So this tells us how eco we are when we're driving. It tells you the total range from reset. So the average speed, how much watt hours per mile. This vehicle has 7,510 miles on it and has been on for 312 hours. Okay. This is from start. So since I've started the vehicle, turned on the vehicle, I've driven 9 miles. I used 537 watt hours per mile. And it took me 42 minutes for travel time. Average speed was 13 miles an hour. And then here we go for the miles, 74. So now if we press and hold this, actually that's not what I wanted. If we tap it once, we can reset the trip. So this is like, you know what? It's like really hard to figure out because it took me a while because I always wanted to figure out how to reset the trip. I was like, why can't I? Because it gives you so much data, but that's how you do it. And if you hit home again, we can go into full navigation. So we can have navigation here. Say someone's messing around with this screen, which, by the way, you can while you're driving. It doesn't shut it off because it is a infotainment system. But what you don't realize is that the passenger has one as well in this vehicle. So they don't have to mess around with this one. That is there. There's another screen. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure why it's not. It may be turned off. I may shut it off. I may have shut it off. But there's another one there. All right, so now we're back to navigation, full navigation. Now we can go to assistance. Now this is the interesting part. This is a self-driving vehicle. This will make direction. It'll turn the directional on. It'll change lanes. It'll accelerate, decelerate, brake on its own, do everything all by itself. It's actually rather scary. And that's what that is there. Those options there. It normally would have A's next to that steering wheel for automatic, but this one is turned off. Let's see. And we hit home again, and then we have off-road mode. Well, it tells you the leaning, how many degrees you're off, your actual compass, and your battery charge. It has charging for charging the vehicle when you're reproducing energy when you're starting to slow down, and this shows you how much energy you're using in terms of the accelerator, how far down it's depressed. Gives you the longitude and latitude of your position, and it's pretty impressive. This thing has so much stuff, it's not even funny. And then you have service, which is very important as well. So, and there's different options here. I believe you can go side to side with this too. I'm trying to think. Tire pressure, message memory number 1, ambient lighting, warning support, inoperative. Oh, that's interesting. Ambient light warning support. Ambient light warning support is malfunctioning. Lock and unlock the vehicle. Service required. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Let me shut the car off. During a review. How messed up is that? Hold on. So let's let's change the color to monochrome and see if that changes it. Yeah, there we go. So the active one may only be working when you're driving. So this is actually kind of cool. So we can set this to any color we like around the outside. I mean, it changes the whole look of the car. I mean, it's pretty as hell. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. It's just it's a sick. Look at the lighting underneath. It's even up here. It's even on the sides of the seats and the back seats. Come on, that's sharp as shit. I don't care what anybody says. This color is sick. And we're just changing it on the display here. So that's white, or whatever. That's technically white. And you can pretty much do whatever you like. It's like it changes the whole look of the vehicle when you're driving and whatnot. And yes, this can be too bright where this is daylight. So this is what it looks like. I like this color. It's sharp. Definitely sharp. So, I mean, I guess I'm not really quite sure why it was giving me that error message, but it was. And Mercedes Benz will be watching this video as well. So let's go over some of the features of this thing. So I'm going to go and eventually turn this screen on. So let's do that now. So we hit home and we have Mercedes EQ. Now, just remember, this screen on the EQS is substantially larger. It is tremendous. The one that's on the EQS is it's like 30% smaller than this. It's pretty much like a square, which is fine, and that's all you need. You don't need anything else. If you're like a tech geek like myself, then you might want this vehicle. It's just not necessary. It really isn't. And trust me, I drive a Prius Prime as well, so I like both sides. So it's crazy. So this screen here, so let's go back. We have EQ, Mercedes Benz EQ. This tells you all the options. Socket flap open, if it's open, which it shouldn't be. That's to click it open. Charging pause, if you want to pause it. High voltage battery, pre-temp control, automatic. So this is interesting. This will control the temperature of the battery, which is important. You want to overheat it or whatnot. This is the current state of charge. Now, if the car is plugged in, this will show up on the screen. This will tell us, if we're driving, what things turned on that we can turn off to increase mileage. Like if I increase the heat on this, see? It says if you shut the climate control off, you'll increase it by 37 miles, which we'll do. And that'll go down to 0. So heat, remember, you know, like unlike an ICE engine, like an ICE vehicle, you don't have the luxury of the engine heating up your coolant to give you heat for the heater core. So this has to use an air compressor or heat pump, depending on what version of vehicle you have, to give you that. So now this here gives you the consumption and recharge rate when you're driving, which is kind of neat. And this is in 30-minute increments, 7.5 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, 3 hours. All right. Let's go to apps. Interesting. Some Mercedes have more, some have less. If you have this with the dash cam option, which, by the way, you can turn on, then you can go to the gallery and look through your... Wait a minute. Somebody had... What the hell? That is crazy. I I didn't even know that even existed. I mean, I knew this existed, but collision photos? Collision photos? What? This had a collision? Wow. Somebody hit this thing. It takes pictures automatically during a collision. And this is where it happened. Wow. And I don't even have, there's no memory card in this thing. It must automatically, and it happened on January 9th, 2024. Maybe that's why that piece is off on the back of the car. There's a section that came off when I got it, when I originally took this car. And they probably didn't know about it. And this is where it happened. At this guy's house. Oh my God. That is crazy. I'm sorry, but that's crazy. I didn't even know that. I don't think the guy even knew that even happened. So someone hit this car. Someone hit this vehicle. I wonder if it has anything to do with this vehicle here. That is not, that's not cool. That's wild. Where is that camera? Look at the view on that. Okay, so this is insane. See the curvature here? Having that amount of curvature means that the lens is probably like 1 millimeter and is gathering so much data. Like 2.8 is 2.5, 2.8 is ridiculous. This, you could actually see everything down the block. So I'm not sure if this is on the mirror of the vehicle because I can't see. So actually, if you look carefully, let's see, we see the door handle here. So that's probably, and that's the left, that's probably, because you don't see the door handle down here. So that's probably the back side of the car on the other side of the vehicle. So this is the driver's side. And there's the front of the car. That's what that is. That's nutty. Look at how much image data you get here. That's crazy. So now we have the scene of the crime and when it happened. That's funny. Okay, so we go back to apps. License info of most likely a satellite radio. It's taking forever to come up with that. Browser, you can browse the internet with this. Select device access. Came up with my phone. Did you see that? All right, so let's go back. Apps. Mercedes Me. Great thing. Actually, this is for activation. I'm not going to do this because I need to have a QR code go into the phone And then I set up the fingerprint. So that's actually, I'll have to show that in a different vehicle. Now we go to car settings. Now this is like so much stuff. This has a ton of doodads. We're going to go over it real quick. Driving. And you see the arrow pointing to it. So this indicates all these options. And we're just going down the list. And we're on this particular tab. Assistance. Driving assistance. These are the options. Active distance assist distronic, which is dynamic cruise control. It'll adopt your speed limit. Route-based speed adaptation, meaning, you might want to shut that off. So in other words, if you're traveling 65 miles an hour in a 55 miles an hour zone, it'll actually lower down the speed based off of the route-based speed. So that you might want to shut off. It'll automatically brake based on dynamic select, and then you get to choose which one you want, comfort or dynamic, in your selection. Active steering assist. This will actually drive the freaking car. It'll actually change lanes on you. It'll scare the crap out of you. And then you have downhill assistance. Every few tenths of a mile, it constantly asks to put your hands on the steering wheel, and it's changing the lanes by itself. I am not touching the steering wheel or the directional.
Continue straight for 6 minutes to exit 48 Round Swamp Road toward Old Bethpage, Farmingdale.
This is insane. This is the best self-driving vehicle I've ever seen. DSR, which this will automatically turn on regenerating braking and slow you down by going downhill. Collision avoidance. This is actually kind of cool. The car will actually steer away from collisions. It's actually kind of wild. So someone almost sideswiped me the other day, and this freaking thing steered out of the way. I don't know what to say. See, active lane keeping assist, active brake assist, active blind spot assist. It's nuts. If I turn on my directional on the right-hand side, and if someone is there, this whole side of the car will turn red and beep and prevent me from making the turn, just so you know. All right, so assistance here. Traffic sign assist. This will actually show up on the screen right there. It'll tell you what you are. Okay? And there's that downhill that we just turned on. Okay. Attention assist, which is great. So let's hit that. This function supports you during long monotone journeys, but when you're by yourself. It knows because the passenger seat is not depressed for activating the airbag. So that's how it knows. And there are different sleep warnings. Micro sleep warnings, sensitive or standard. It's really, this car's got so much safety, it's not even funny. Camera. GPS-based activation, open camera cover, which is in the back of the vehicle. Right, so this is actually in the rear of the vehicle, and no one knew where it was, and that's where it is. It's behind the Mercedes Benz logo, and I will show you that video right now. Okay, so now this also has the ability to park itself. You tell it where you want it to go. It'll find a parking spot and it will park itself. We're not going to demonstrate that right now. Set warning tones. How loud? Go back to the menu. Auto fade out for the lighting. Warning. Now, this particular vehicle, and mine as well, the EQE and this EQS, has projection headlights. Now, and they're digital, and they project things out onto the roadway, which is pretty insane. This So let me just show you that real quick. I'm going to power down. So let's see if it actually shows anything on the, yeah, I don't know if you can see it. You probably, yeah, you see it there? So let me turn it back on again. Watch what it does. All right, so that's the headlights, what they do. I'm going to shut it off. You got the rain for the headlights, a projection there. We turn the car back on again. Now we can actually change that. My car displays a Mercedes Benz symbol and shows Mercedes Benz on the outside. It's kind of neat. So let's go to vehicle. Sound experience. On the inside, you've been hearing it the whole time we've been in the car. It's just enough. It's there. Sound experience, you can even do it on the outside of the car. So GPS-based raising, snow chain mode, creep function. I'll show you what that means. When the brake pedal is depressed, the function allows the vehicle to drive off slowly in drive or reverse, even if the accelerator is not depressed yet. So what this does, it prevents the car from rolling forward. It's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. So it keeps your car from moving. Car wash mode. If you wanted to go in the car wash, you got to stick it in neutral, or it sets a certain specific speed, and it knows what to do. Okay, kind of neat. And then you have vehicle comfort. We could have this roof blind automatically go up, and the seat position can automatically move back. Steering wheel moves up, so you can get in and out of the vehicle properly. This does have the ability to memorize your seat position right there, and it is pretty impressive. This also does heated seats and air conditioning seats, just so you know. All right, so we're back. So let's continue. So we have occupant protection, human presence reminder, belt adjustment. This is what I was talking about. A belt pulls on you and lets you know. Open and close, vehicle protection, automatic door lock, acoustic lock, automatic mirror folding, really slick. Dynamic select, which you know. Driving modes, suspension. We could change the suspension to sport or comfort. Steering as well. How the steering wheel handles when you're driving. Now we're going to go to lighting. Digital light, digital low beam, daytime running lights, projection when opening and closing, support projections, spotlight warning and alerts. That projects onto the roadway. Pretty slick. Interior lighting, locator lighting, interior delay lighting, and exterior delay lighting. This is all the lights on the inside of the vehicle when you exit and entrancing, and then there's lights that project onto the roadway here. It shows a Mercedes Benz symbol on this particular vehicle. Ambient lighting, interior, and this is the ambient lighting we were discussing earlier with the lighting on the inside. That's comfort. That's also locating comfort. Now we'll go to system. Now this is the cool part. So you can actually say this word. I'm not going to say because it'll ask me questions. Unlike voice control, proactive. Hang on. Then we have displays. So this was talking about the third display. I have that other one on off. So we're going to turn on that one now. And that one just came on. Okay. So we're going to go back. So this one has its own features. When I think it doesn't even think I'm. Is it? Okay, so now we have. So I turn that screen on now. But as you can see with this video, you see what I'm talking about? The reflection. You don't really see the screen. You see the reflection. I hate this. Bad design. Bad design. So the displays. This is the one that's in front of the vehicle. In the driver's spot. This is the huge graphical display. And then that's the passenger one. You can actually turn them on and off. Central display and the passenger. Home screen, how you want it to look. Zero layer with the bubbles here, or you could just have it with graphical displays like that. Classic. The zero layer is my favorite. Let's see. What else do we have here? Got displays. Whoops, I keep hitting this accidentally. Graphical goodies. On some special days, the graphics will change little, and you'll be surprised. Now, what happened was, my girlfriend was in the passenger seat, and roses came up, and I upset that I did not take a picture of that. I was driving, it was at night, and I actually had the display off, and actually displayed roses for her, which was pretty snazzy. Roses were up in here. It was pretty cool. Changes kilometers to miles an hour. Additional speedometer. Depending on where it is, it'll be placed someplace else in the vehicle so you know how fast you're going. Language. Offers quite a bit of options. Spanish, French, Italiano, Portuguese, and whatever the hell that is. And these Japanese, Korean, or Chinese, I'm not really quite sure. Keyboard and handwriting. It does this too. Handwriting recognition. Which is really ridiculous. Control elements. Acoustic feedback. Meaning that when you press the screen, you feel it vibrate. Which is actually good. Sound rather. Then you have the haptic feedback where you feel a vibration, and touch control for speed wise it's slow, which is fine. And let's see, we have audio. Now this is the part that's nutty. So you have entertainment. We'll do that one first. Pure and 3D sound, equalizer, balance and fade, sound focus. The stereo system in this vehicle is by far the most advanced I've ever heard in my entire life for a stock system. It rocks. Mine, in my EQE, is 710 watts with a subwoofer, which, by the way, is up here. It just rocks. It's insane. So we'll go back to system. Voice output. GPS voice guidance. And during calls,
please follow the road. Hello, I'm Mercedes.
That stuff, which is neat. Internet and Bluetooth, manage internet access, hotspot, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC, which, by the way, is actually right there. There's an NFC reader inside the car. There's wireless charging here. Cup holders, which, by the way, do that. You can reset them so they don't. Type-C connections here. If you decide to get a dash cam that's built into the vehicle, which, by the way, it does have. I'll show you a picture of all the cameras. You use the bottom or the top Type-C USB, Type-C memory USB device. Mine has a 512 gig in it, and it's great. The ones down here, excuse me, will not work with the dash cam. Okay, just food for thought. We'll not see those. Okay, so let's continue. Shut the lights off. I have lights in the garage. We're in the garage right now, so like I told you, this video is going to be raw. I wasn't kidding you. Data protection, a PIN number. My car has a PIN. That's the system. That's the settings area. Now we have comfort, which we were in. Now the comfort allows us to do the seat kinetics, which actually they move. Okay, these seats move. So if you're like falling asleep, whatever, you can actually press it, and then the seat will start moving and not vibrate, but kind of keep you. It'll do nice things. It's kind of cool. For both, you can actually set for how long the backrest, the seat surface, for how long of the program you wanted to go for. Automatic seat positioning based off your height. So this is cool. So you don't have to go, I wonder this is good. Oh, I wonder if that was good. And you just tell, okay, I'm 6'1", 6'2" is fine. And it'll start and position the seat automatically. It just moves. And adjusted the seats properly. And the height, it's actually moving. Which is really crazy. So change the position of the seating position in the car, including the steering wheel in it. Including the steering wheel and everything. Ambient lighting, which we went over before, but we'll do it again. And we'll turn the brightness up because I have it off, because you must see this. It's really snazzy as hell. Let me shut the headlights off and just show you the ambient lighting in this car. Hopefully the sensors in the garage would not go on or off. They're actually in the seat as well, and the floor, down on the floor, everything is lit. The whole car is lit. It is really amazing. And you could pick any any lighting, any color. So I just happen to have violet, but it's pretty cool. And this is the full brightness, and we're maxed out 100%. But just look at the lighting. It's just, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And those lights again. It's just the way it looks. It's sharp now. Just so you know, you can change the zone. So we're not going to link them. Okay, so they're all independent. So just so you see, we have direct lighting. You'll see which one's dimmed down. So that's the door. Okay, that's there. I'll shut it off. That was on 2, so turn it off. That's direct. Indirect lighting. What does that do? Okay, that's around the items, the edges on all the item. These things here, the edges here. Then you have accents, which is the seat. So hold on, I can't really hold the camera. So if you do the accents, that's the seats. And then you have the light band, which is around the whole car. This here. So that's at level 8. That's level 2. So you might not want to have this really, really bright all the time. I mean, level 2 is fine. It's quaint. And you can do that to all of the light surfaces. Just so you have enough light that looks cool enough, but not too bright. I usually leave it around 9 on all of them because it's enough. And it looks cool. And it works. So enough with that. I think the effects is the coolest thing, the lighting. What's really interesting, sorry, let me go to effects, is that, where is it? Color. They have multicolor. So this, you can actually have 2 different colors displaying at the same time. But this looks like 3, but it says multicolor. Okay, so it could be more than 1. So you have, that's one option. This is the other option. This is the other option. I'm showing this angle because it's the coolest angle. You know what? I'm going to crank it up the brightness all the way so then we get the full gist of it. All right, so color. And this is the other option. There's so many options here. That's a red. And this is white. This is kind of nice because this lightens up the whole car while you're driving. I mean, you could see everything perfectly fine. But it's not enough that you go blind and you can't see outside the vehicle. By the way, it changes around the whole car. It's different. So it's kind of green here, but blue over here. That purple. This is snazzy. See? And then we have this one. Now, if you look carefully on this display here, we have one with a lightning bolt. This one is actually active. It changes as you drive. So this bar up top here, this one, changes as you drive. You floor it, it goes red. You're driving normal, it kind of pulsates. It's an active light for the top light here. All right, so let's go home. So the phone is the phone, you have the radio, media, Bluetooth, info. This tells you about the car. So it'll tell you if you're using 4MATIC, like these two will be powered on. It'll tell us, how your acceleration is, your braking is, pretty much any setting that you have for the car. It's really impressive. The energy flow is wild. So we're at 94%. When I started this video, we're at 95%. We have a range of 265 miles right now. And this is pretty much it. This is all we wrote. Now, the other screen here is not turning on because we're not moving. So this will be for the passenger. And there's no passenger. So once someone sits here, that screen will turn on. It stays in that mode and will not do anything. So then we have smartphone and then off-road setting, which I would never take this vehicle off-road, but there is an option here for off-road, which seems silly. And you can turn it off, and it displays there. The on-off thing goes on and off. We can raise and lower the vehicle. I'm not sure what it's doing because this car has airbags in it. I just heard something turn on. It's raising the vehicle. Yeah, we're going up. Slowly. Yeah, the car's going up. That's hilarious. Giving us some more clearance on the vehicle. So we'll shut that off. You can hear the noise. Hang on. We lower the volume. Lower the window. Now listen. Now I'll turn it off. That's releasing. Now we're lowering the car. Rising the car. It's actually kind of cool. We're actually lifting up. That's crazy. So we'll shut it off. There's no reason for us to have it up. But yeah, it's kind of neat. So that's the off-road portion of it. Oh, let me turn the heat off. And that's it. There's no other options here. That's the whole menu system. And this is the navigation. This is what it looks like. This is the 0 layer, which we discussed earlier. How it looks. These are the two options, and that's pretty much it. It's a great vehicle. I'm just not a fan of all the displays. This one's too big. And when you're looking here, this view is the view. The steering wheel is blocking the navigation. because this is the view I see. So this, if you can see, it's actually blocking this portion of the screen. So having it bigger is not really necessarily better, because you can't really see this portion of the screen. Make sense? And one thing I do want to make clear. Hang on, turn this on. The airbag system in this car is a little, how do I say, nauseous feeling. In other words, let me turn on all the lights here. See what I'm talking about? Look how sharp that is back there. So when you're driving the truck, since it's on airbags, it has shocks too, but since it's on airbags, it wants to kind of, when it gets the bump, it wants to kind of push the car forward. So it's like overcompensating for the bump. Instead of going up and down, it's kind of pushing you forward. And then over time, you want to throw up. So it's a nauseous feeling. I would do without the airbags of the vehicle and just stick with the higher end shock absorbers or whatever the vehicle has. But if you plan on doing off-roading and you want to lift the car up, and it does have a little compressor on it that actually could raise and lower the vehicle, I guess then that's okay. But typically I would not want that feature. But it is a sharp looking car. It is bigger. It does offer a substantial amount of room. It is a big car. So this is my review. I'm going to be reviewing other Mercedes Benz lines. Mercedes Benz of Smithtown has given me hopefully the ability to review other vehicles. So I'm looking forward to it extremely. It's an overall, Mercedes Benz of Smithtown have been over the top professional from day one. What an incredible experience I've had with them. I will always be going back to Mercedes for another car, just because of their professionalism. Period. The end. It's just an unbelievable company. The people who work there are so professional, so welcoming. I felt like Brandon was my sales guy. You can tell him I sent you. You tell him Joe Tech. He'll know exactly who I am. A YouTuber, and they'll be really happy. Oh, I turned them off prematurely. He'll be really happy to hear from you, especially if it's the video that I did and you guys came for that. Again, I get no commission from anything. I'm declaring that and disclaiming, making that disclaimer. I purposely did not want it. I told them I don't want to have anything like that. The only thing I do want is that I'll be able to review any Mercedes-Benz that I wish. Hopefully I can even do Maybachs, but I'll probably have to be in the showroom to do that. I don't think they're going to give me a Maybach and go, here you go, Joe, here's your two-tone Maybach, have fun. No, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, so guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Take care, and we'll see you next time. All right, here's a perfect example of range anxiety and why people have it. I traveled 6.8 miles when I had 100%. I now have 97. I started with 278 miles, actually, and now I have 97%. So this is like having like a Lamborghini with a V12 and watching the gas gauge go down. Didn't travel far, and I already lost 3%. That's the problem and why people have range anxiety. Even though I have 272 miles to go, it's just watching the percentage go down is really, it's actually, you know, it is what it is.